Saturday, September the 26th, 2015, and it's just like the old days. I'm back at a railway station, this one being Sallins, which is headed out on the Cork line, Cork leash, and just like in England, there's engineering works today. So the timetable was a little adjusted, and there you go, that's a rare sight today, I'll tell you. That's a train. So today we're doing part 2 of my Grand Canal walk, and this one is, as I say, Sallins to Hazelhatch, and that's the reverse of the way it would normally be done, but when it's normally done it's walking into the wind. So I'm going with the wind on my back and the sun in my face, I believe. Anyway, not to worry. It's about 13 kilometres, 9.5, 10 miles. Should be a good test for the hip. So let's see how we get on. Cracking day for it. Lovely weather. Here's an example of railway workers' cottages, which are even older, I should imagine, and smaller than the one I presently live in. Didn't get the name of it, but there is a bar close to the canal down there. Plus a few others round about as well. So I might have been better off doing it in reverse actually, with hindsight, because Hazelhatch seems to be a much smaller place, and I might not get to find a bar down there, especially one that shows the football, which is what I'm aiming to try and get to see. It's now 11:10, and obviously the football kicks off in 4 hours time. Crucial game today, Arsenal-Leicester. Oh, glorious weather. So just confirming we're on track, and I noticed that pub over there is called Lock 13, so that must tell you where we're at. The first thing that becomes immediately obvious is that the walking surface is very different to what I walked the other day from Kylemore Bridge. As I intimated, this is going to be a much more rural walk, and pleasantly so as well. Fair selection of houseboats here, walking out of Sallins. And as you can see there, we're in County Kildare here, which is on the fringes of Dublin County. There's the symbol of the national trails, of which this is one, I believe. And as you can see there, the towpath has been closed recently at some point, probably due to flooding, because I noticed that the footpath in places is quite damp even now. Guess that must be the railway bridge above there. Okay, 1 mile in per my GPS, and walking past some lovely rushes here. Even so, you can still hear the hum of a motorway somewhere, even out here in green leafy Ireland. Interesting butterfly there, of which I don't know the name. Won't be around for much longer, I wouldn't have thought. There's not actually much wind today, which also makes me wonder if I'm going in the right direction. This bush is absolutely overloaded with elderberries. Good crop this year for the winemaker and the birds, of course. Pheasant there in the hedgerow somewhere. Not much else going on though, to be honest. Okay, interestingly here we've got this river going under the canal. Possibly some kind of overload flow. Certainly plenty of fish in there. Brown trout, I notice. Very clear water, despite the rubbish that gets chucked into them. Ruins of an old cottage there, which I presume would have been the lock keeper, as we're about to approach another lock. In the distance, the Wicklow Mountains, which I hope to get into at some point. Fairy Castle, 2 mountain, 3 mountain, with those horrendous TV masts obliterating the view. Well, here's the overflow point, so my guess is right. No horses, and the catch and return policy is in force here. Such a shame that lockkeeper's cottage there has gone to waste. Wouldn't do so in England, that would be prime residence by now. Lock 15 this is. More overflow. And the golf course beyond. Surface here now has improved to become that of a gritted track again. Here we are at lock 14, and lo and behold, one of the canal keepers, gatekeepers' cottages has been converted. Nice stable door there. Probably because this one's not far from a road I see there just in a distance on that bridge. Whereas the other one was a bit inaccessible unless you happen to have a boat. And as is often the way in Ireland, an extension to the rear at the same roof height. That's all you're allowed, can't go upwards. And further new plot, a development on a plot in the garden. Not sure if they're visible here, but there's a massive shoal of fish there. Technology reaches the canal side. Not sure what that's powering, but excellent use of UVs. That little settlement I've just come through is Barron Rath on my rudimentary map. Road surface, the towpath surface has changed again. Back to damp green grass. Very pastoral scene here through the hedge, a break in the hedge. Again the Dublin mountains there in the distance. Fantastic, just watching some swallows dive bombing like dam busters, getting a sip of water, making the most of the last of this Indian summer. Just come under that bridge there, it's getting a bit busier now. I think I've passed 3 people so far this morning. Path has now become a road. Family of Buicks, I think. Not sure of their status in this country. Obviously in England they're the Queen's swans, but here, being a republic, not sure if they're protected or not. Just coming into the village of Ardclough, which is around halfway. 4 miles I've just had come up on my GPS. Got the crossing of some paths here with the Arthur's Way and the Grand Canal way. You can Google Arthur's Way if you want to learn more, because I don't know anything about it. Well, that's rather ominous, because that's now. Hope that's not actually effective at the moment. Looks like red squirrel are about here, and just as in England, they're not very common here now either. Wonderful autumn colours down there. Wind's picking up. Those very humped bridges, it causes problems to traffic. Single file only as well. So here you go, an information panel about Arthur's Way, which is the one that they're working on. From Lyons Estate to Autorad. I hope that's not going to affect my journey. Well, this is unbelievable. Typical of my luck. Can't get through to Hazelhatch now. I've got no idea how to get to where I need to be. Unbelievable. What a stupid time of year to do it. Right, so it turns out this is something called Lyons Domain, Lyons. It's a posh place for weddings and functions and what have you. I've got to walk through this estate now to get back on the roads and get back to my destination that way. Fingers crossed. So there you go, Lyons, the village at Lyons. And here we are back at the bridge. Workers are on my left. My onward journey's that way, and I've just bumped into 2 walkers that have come from that direction and managed to get through. So I'm going to give it a go as well. Not sure what this bridge is called, but there you go. Another one of those arched bridges. Now this is interesting, there's a vehicle down there. Not sure if he's coming towards me or not. Yes, he is. Spoken to 2 workers from the waterways, and I can't get through, unlike those 2 lucky people that just did. So it means a load of road walking now, which won't be good for my leg. Over the Cork rail line again. Well, the towpath might be closed, but I'm in good hands. I'm on the Lord's Road. Nice quiet little lane taking me all the way to Hazelhatch apparently. traditional Irish transport there. Okay, I now know the history behind this road, having just bumped into a local halfway down it. Apparently Lord Cloncurry, who was a massive landowner here and lived in the Lyons estate that we were in earlier, he had this road built as a shortcut from the railway station to obviously where he lived up there at the Lyons domain in 1880. Otherwise he'd have had to have done the long circuitous route that I almost got involved with. So it's thanks to him that I'm able to take this relatively quicker route. Here we are, back on the Arthur's Way, which is the reason why I had my diversion. Interesting, they've started putting distances on these as well, which they haven't put on earlier ones. So here we are, about 2:45, back at this new station. Six years old. And here you go, you got Lord Adonis getting his tuppence worth in. Oh dear me. So I got around an hour to kill, unfortunately. Would have got the earlier train had it not been for the closure of that towpath. But there you go. So I've got the first half, sit here, listen to the first half if I can get a signal. Decent enough walk, good test for the old hip. I've done around about, 9.2 miles, just over 3 hours. Easy enough walking, nothing particularly interesting about that walk. Pleasant enough day though, some good fresh air. So that's that. Sallins to almost Hazelhatch completed.